Summer 2006. Canadian law enforcement round up 18 young Muslims, many of them children.
The biggest anti-terrorism case in Canada.
This group took steps to acquire components necessary to create explosive devices using ammonium nitrate, which is a commonly used fertilizer. 3 tons of ammonium nitrate was ordered by these individuals and delivered to them. It was their intent to use it for a terrorist attack.
No comment.
No comments.
The young men are branded as homegrown terrorists by Canada's spy agency CSIS and the RCMP.
In an emerging plot that eventually included attacks on prominent Canadians, Parliament, the Toronto Stock Exchange, and the CBC.
Charges for half of the adult suspects include intending to cause an explosion. All of them are charged with belonging to a terrorist group.
There appears to be evidence that such a terrorist act was imminent.
The arrests are shown as a great victory for CSIS and the RCMP.
In the Commons, both sides of the House were quick to congratulate the work of security and intelligence services.
Our forces, our security people are doing a very good job.
Good intelligence work. You see that here.
They must be congratulated in having this success.
There's praise for Canada's actions in this case from the Bush administration and the White House.
We congratulate Canadian authorities on intercepting such a plot.
We congratulate Canada for doing that, and that's what we want to have done.
They're congratulating Canada, and Britain's congratulating Canada. We did the right thing. We did a great thing.
All the back-patting from politicians and foreign governments is justified.
Are you here for a family member?
By the sensational trial by media that follows.
Focus on mosques and the suggestion that the radicalization occurs there or around there.
Radicalized.
They may have been radicalized.
On terrorism.
Terrorists in the Toronto area.
Terrorists in Toronto.
Violence and even terrorism, or at least that's the allegation.
There's something we have to remind us is that these people that has been arrested are innocent until proven guilty.
Right, and we can't repeat that enough, actually.
Yes,
the impression is left quite clearly on the public.
And you saw a successful operation.
These men must be guilty.
My client's alleged to have been part of a plot to blow up Parliament buildings in Canada, storm the CBC, take over the CBC, as well as, among other things, behead the Prime Minister.
Somebody's talking about his mother-in-law. The agony she's given him, I want to cut her head off. He's talking with his friends. Doesn't this happen? What is how can you take this against a person? They don't have even one tape between 2 of the suspects on their own talking about this subject. The only tape they have about this subject is when one of the informants is with them. What does this tell you?
As the suspects wait for what they hope is a fair trial, the presumption of guilt is all the Canadian public knows. And with a media blackout, even that perception is fading from the public consciousness as the months in prison stretch into years. But is there more to the story than we've been told?
And the timing of these arrests coincides with the government's plan to review its anti-terrorist laws.
The timing is interesting, though, because your committee is set to review Canada's security legislation. Many of the critics have said it goes too far, but now it'll be examined through the prism of these events over the weekend.
Let's first take a look at who the suspects are and how they know each other, if they even know each other at all. The main ties between the suspects are that most attended the same mosque. Beyond that, several of the suspects had gone to the same school, and there had been minimal contact between some of the young men on the internet. Essentially, church, school, and the internet. Just an average social network between average everyday Canadians. Tariq Abdelhalim runs CaptiveInCanada.com. He's also the father of suspect Sharif Abdelhalim, who attended the Al Rahman Islamic Center.
They don't know each other. They don't know. My son didn't know anybody. He knew a couple of them. I don't want to get into that, but he knew a couple of them just as a friend. None of them knows, everyone knows one and two of each other. Like they go, pray, how are you doing, whatever, talk about something and go. When someone of this group go and pray in some other place and talk with somebody like anybody talks, that is a link. They actually try to establish the link through a third party. This knows this, and this knows this guy, so this guy knows this guy. And you know that I can tell you now, sitting here, I know Hillary Clinton. Because they said that within 6 links, you can get to anybody in the world. That's why the prosecution will have a very hard time to establish the group. And they are getting away of it now because there is no group. There are no groups. There are no groups.
I never expected it, and he doesn't deserve it.
Quotes from family, friends, and acquaintances confirm these are normal people. But the official story would have us believe that 18 young Canadians, some with very promising careers and from respected families, out of the blue wanted to blow up buildings and kill innocent civilians. What could transform such ordinary people?
Again, Peter, that this phenomenon is really internet spread more than anything else now.
There are thousands of internet sites that spread an Al-Qaeda ideology.
According to an investigative report by CBC's The Fifth Estate, the website being referred to is clearguidance.com. Since the website was shut down, finding Amara and Ahmad's web postings has been difficult. But whatever has been reported in the media is innocent, even fluffy chat room banter. While the media has reported some truly disturbing postings from the website, anything they've quoted from these suspects is completely harmless. Is this the best that the media could dig up? Any of these quotes fall well within free expression. The worst thing we could find was some poetry. And that's hardly a crime, right? An article in the Globe and Mail tries to paint one suspect as a suicide bomber. They quote comments in his high school yearbook. "Before us there were many, after us there will be none. We are the ones." But wait, that sounds familiar. Or perhaps it's a direct quote from Atlanta-based rapper King Conscious. It's a likely explanation, especially since 2 suspects are from the Atlanta area. Now, before anybody arrests Jay-Z or King Conscious for radicalizing today's Muslim youth, there might be a more plausible explanation as to what got the attention of CSIS in the first place.
There was even a Liberal MP that was part of the investigation because his parents complained that something was happening at the Islamic Center. They kicked him out. They told him, "Get out of here." It was Wajid Khan. He complained to everybody in the house. It was no secret. It was in the headlines. A huge operation.